You ever have one of those moments when you realize peace and freedom aren't what you thought they'd be, because someone always wants to own a piece of it? That was me, about a year ago, when I bought a patch of land out in northern Arizona. 160 acres of weeds, a half-collapsed barn, and a pond that looked more like a coffee stain than a body of water. To most folks, it was nothing. To me, after 20 years of city noise and courtroom lights, it was heaven. My plan was simple: restore the land, live quiet, drink my coffee under real sunlight. The auctioneer's gavel dropped. I signed the paperwork, and that was that. The best part? The deed clearly said not under any HOA. I swear, that line felt better than the whiskey I celebrated with that night. The first week was bliss. Coyotes at dusk, wine through the sage, stars bright enough to make you forget you had a phone. Then came Sheriff Holt, big guy, hands like baseball mitts. He shook my hand, said, "You're cleaning up the old Penrose tract? Good. Just don't let the Coyote Creek HOA folks push you around. They think the county ends where their pavement does." I laughed. Should have listened better. 2 days later, I met her. White SUV, spotless. Out steps this woman like she'd been printed out of a luxury catalog. Hair perfect, sunglasses too big for her face, clipboard in hand. She looked at me like I was trespassing on her property. "Excuse me," she said, in a tone that made "excuse me" sound like a command. "Are you the owner here?" I nodded, wiping sweat off my neck. "That's right. Name's Luke. I'm Beverly Langford," she said, straightening her pearls. "President of the Coyote Creek Homeowners Association. We've noticed some, unapproved development here." I blinked. "Ma'am, this land isn't part of your community." She smiled, tight, practiced. "That's what your realtor might have told you. But the borders were recently adjusted. You'll be receiving notice soon." And with that, she turned on her heel and left, tires throwing dust all over my boots. That night, I sat by my campfire, staring at the flames and the folder of legal documents in my lap. Everything said I was free of them. But the way she said, "You'll be receiving notice soon," stuck in my head like a splinter. A week later, it came. A letter pinned to my gate with painter's tape. Notice of violation, unauthorized land use, excessive noise, non-compliant landscaping. No signature, no logo. Just arrogance printed in 12-point Times New Roman. I laughed, crumpled it, and tossed it into the mud. Next morning, 2 cars rolled up, white SUV again and a hybrid, both with community affairs printed on the side. A man and a woman hopped out in neon vests, looking like they were about to inspect a jungle gym. "Good morning," the man chirped. "We're here under Coyote Creek jurisdiction. As of January 1st, this property falls within our maintenance district. We'll just need your membership dues, $5, $800, and a compliance signature." I stared at them. "You're saying my land got annexed into your HOA because it's near your sign?" "That's correct," he said, smiling proudly. I pointed to the mud beneath his shiny shoes. "That mud you're standing on? That's private land. Now get off it before you're trespassing." The woman's smile twitched. "Refusal to comply may result in penalties." "Good," I said. "The sheriff loves paperwork." They left, tires spitting gravel. I wasn't mad yet, but I was starting to feel something colder, resolve. A day later, my generator was dead. The gate, gone. Cut clean off its hinges. I checked my trail cams, and there they were, 2 figures in the dark. One of them, tall, nervous, turning his head like he'd hear ghosts, looked familiar. I pulled up the HOA website. Tyler Langford, Community Oversight Director. Beverly's son. That was it. I took the footage straight to Sheriff Holt. He watched it, jaw tightening. "That's criminal mischief, vandalism, maybe worse," he muttered. "We'll investigate." "Sheriff," I said, "if I'd done this to them, I'd already be in cuffs." He didn't argue, just told me to get a lawyer. So I did. Called an old friend, Maria Chun, a property rights attorney with a tongue sharper than barbed wire. She listened, then said, "Luke, this isn't just harassment. This is a land grab. You hold your ground. I'll handle the rest." We filed a cease and desist the next morning. But I wanted more than defense, I wanted proof. So I baited them. See, I knew their type. They wanted control dressed up as community. So I dug through old survey records and found an old, defunct groundwater well on my southern edge. Useless, but still on some maps. I fenced it off, posted a big sign. Protected Aquifer Zone, Federal Oversight, no unauthorized access. Then I waited. Didn't take long. 3 days later, I came back from town to find a trench dug straight through the protected zone. 6 feet wide, deep enough to bury a truck tire, with stakes and flags marked Community Drainage Integration. They'd used my bait. I called Maria, sent her the photos. She said, "Get me measurements and timestamps." They just bought themselves a lawsuit. Then I called the state surveyor. After 4 hours of laser mapping, she told me, "Their trench is 17 feet inside your boundary." And those documents? Forged. Turns out Beverly's cousin, working quietly at the county clerk's office, had approved a fake boundary correction months earlier. That discovery lit the fuse. Maria went nuclear, filed fraud complaints, demanded audits, and leaked everything to the local paper. Suddenly, my dusty little property was on the news. Local man fights back against hostile HOA. People started reaching out, farmers, retirees, even a teacher, telling me the HOA had been quietly charging them fees or denying permits outside their legal zone. One woman, Lorraine, a retired accountant and former HOA treasurer, said she had records proving Beverly had a shadow fund, collecting off-book dues and spending them on pet projects. The trench, the signs, all of it paid from that fund. Maria added it to the case. When the day of the hearing came, I put on my one good tie and walked into that courthouse like I was walking into a duel. Beverly strutted in with 2 board members and some slick city lawyer. She looked at me like she was about to swat a fly. The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Cortez, opened the session. Maria started calm and clean. Maps, photos, footage, even Lorraine's testimony. Then she handed over the fake county records with Beverly's cousin's signature. The HOA's lawyer tried to wave it off. "A misunderstanding," he said. The judge leaned forward. "A misunderstanding that involved forged documents and a 6-foot trench." The courtroom went quiet. Then Maria dropped the hammer. "Your Honor, my client is willing to settle for a public admission of overreach, refunds to all affected homeowners, and the immediate resignation of Ms. Langford and the HOA board." Gasps all around. Beverly stood up, red-faced. "This is absurd. We were preserving order." Judge Cortez slammed the gavel. "Sit down, Mrs. Langford. You are not counsel." The judge granted our injunction, froze HOA funds, and opened an investigation. Within a week, the DA's office showed up at Beverly's home with a warrant. Turned out she'd been manipulating property lines on multiple parcels, collecting illegal dues, even wiring money to consultants in Nevada. Fraud, embezzlement, document tampering, the works. Her son got charged too, thanks to my trail cam footage. The HOA was dissolved. Their remaining funds went to the victims. I got a settlement big enough to rebuild the barn and fence the whole place twice over. But honestly, the money wasn't the win, the peace was. I partnered with a local university to turn part of my land into a pollinator reserve. Now bees hum where bulldozers once stood, wildflowers sway where fake fences used to mark community boundaries. Last spring, while I was fixing the dock on the pond, yeah, it finally filled again, I saw Beverly one last time. She was walking along the county road with 2 lawyers, head down, no pearls, no clipboard. She glanced my way but didn't stop. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I nailed a new sign to the gate that afternoon. "Private land begins here, and your fantasies end." Funny thing, though, sometimes I still wonder if she thought she was doing the right thing. If maybe, deep down, she really believed she was protecting her version of order. Or maybe that's what power does to people. It convinces them they own the air around your house. What do you think? Was I right to fight back, or did I go too far setting traps and baiting them in? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because out here, the line between justice and revenge can get pretty damn blurry.